Welcome to Daily Stock Market Update, starting with Bitcoin. And I'm going to start in a different way today. I will start with a little bit of rant and let's kind of take a step back and see where we are at on Bitcoin and other stocks since we had bottom sometime in October last year. Okay, so you can see here, this is Bitcoin. So from the bottom to where we are now, we're up almost 100%. Okay, so we had 100% rally. People who bought Bitcoin around 15,000, 16,000, they doubled their money almost. All right, look at tech stock, look at NASDAQ ETF. Okay, this is futures NASDAQ. Let's go to triple Qs for an example. This is a ETF which copies NASDAQ. So since bottom, let's say here, October to the top, this guy is up almost 50%, let's say 48%. Now, where we are now, we are at the top. So a lot of people are saying, is it a bull market or a bear market? I don't think that matters. I think what does matter is if you haven't invested until now, would you want to invest here at a price of almost 368, 366 triple Qs? Do you want to buy Bitcoin right now around 30,000? If you did not buy Bitcoin around 16,000, if you did not buy Bitcoin around 20,000, why would you be buying now? Okay, ask a question to yourself. Okay, would like triple Qs, for example, this is a perfect example. That's why I keep going to triple Qs. And Bitcoin, by the way, is going to behave a lot similar to triple Qs. Do you want to put, like, let's say if you have $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, if your family, if your girlfriend or your wife gives you $100,000, be like, okay, do investment of 100,000 today. And do you want to invest in triple Qs right now? Would you be investing in triple Qs? Like your girlfriend comes and asks you in 2 months or 3 months from now, oh, by the way, how are you doing investment? And if triple Qs is down since the top, like to this trend line, it's around 10%. It can even come. You can see all these gaps to the bottom. All these gaps will be filled. So to the bottom gap, triple Q is down 17%. So if you invest $100,000 and you come back in like 3-4 months and we're down here, and your wife comes and your girlfriend comes and asks, oh, by the way, honey, how's the investment doing? And you say, oh, by the way, that 100,000 has become now 84,000 or 83,000. Like, does it really make sense to buy here? It does not. Okay, so be very, very careful. This is like stocks like Netflix, sorry, not NVDA. They are running 240 times their earnings. Like, look at this run. Look at this AI run. Look at this run. 310% since the bottom. This is just unbelievable. This is just Wall Street playing games. This stock cannot be running at 240 times their multiples on earnings. This is just an insane run. It's gonna dump very, very hard, and when it dumps, you won't even know. It's gonna be just like a flush. Okay. Look at Tesla. Look at Tesla. You think Tesla is gonna be here in 3-4 months from now? Look at this. Look at this run. 174%. Look at all these gaps at the bottom to fill. So from the top to, let's say, from the top here to the gap here, the first gap, well, the first gap is around 15%. The third gap or fourth gap is around 25%. There are also gaps at the bottom. 162 is around 41%. And there is this massive gap. You see this massive gap? That's down around 48%. Yes, Tesla can go all the way down to 48%. You think Tesla is worth this much? Inflation is high, and there's no reason for Tesla to pump this much. Like, people are not buying cars. People don't have food to eat. You think people will be buying cars? Nobody will be buying cars. This is just a game played from Wall Street. Yeah, like if you want to buy, at least wait for a pullback, right? Okay, if you really want to buy, go and buy these other sectors. Go and buy financials. Look at how bad they're doing. Look at this. Look at this financial. Go buy real estate sector. Look at this. Go buy healthcare. Look at utilities, energy sector. So my point is, if anything, if you really want to buy, if you really want to invest, please stay away from triple Qs, which is already up. This is already up again. How much up it is? It's already up 48% since bottom. Stay away from this guy, okay? For God's sake, at least wait for a pullback. Buy on these gaps. You can see these gaps. Buy on these gaps at least, or wait for this trend line to come and buy here and then a pump. So anyhow, I just wanted to let you know, like if you are waiting and you see this market is running out, guys, don't worry. Market is going nowhere, okay? And Bitcoin already had his run, okay? So there are multiple gaps. Going back to Bitcoin, there's multiple gaps, and I showed you before. You can see this gap around 20,160. There's also a gap here around 35,000. Yes, it can go there and hit that gap, but even if it goes there, even if Bitcoin goes there to fill this gap, it's going to be on a divergence. It's going to be on a divergence. So let me show you here what that means. Like even if it goes, it's going to be like this. RSI is also going to be like this. Even if it pumps, goes up till there, it's going to come back, guys. It's going to come back. Eventually, these gaps are filled. Yes, 35,000 gap will fill. Yes, it will fill. It can go and fill that gap, but there's a gap here. It will be filled. If it's not going to fill this year, it's going to fill next year. Do you wanna be buying Bitcoin now, knowing there's a gap and Bitcoin is coming here for sure at some point, or you do want to save money? Save money and then wait for Bitcoin to be here and then buy. Okay, ask yourself this question. All right, hope this will help you to make a better decision for yourself. Okay, again, I'll start with analysis, and again, if you're liking this video, please hit the like button and share with this channel with your friends and family. It's free. And if you're making money, if you're learning something, if you want to appreciate or donate and thank me, please, there's a PayPal link. I would really appreciate all the donations, and I'll be very thankful. All right, so this is Bitcoin, and you can see Bitcoin is kind of now after this massive run. Let's bring in some moving averages here. So after this massive run, you can see now Bitcoin is just consolidating. It's too far away from this green line, which is 10 moving average. Whenever it goes too far away, you can see here it comes, either it stabilizes here or it comes down. Okay, also this red line, which is 50 SMA, it's quite possible Bitcoin can go down a bit before another pump higher and then eventually go down. So just keep an eye on this white trend line. This trend line is right now around, as of now, if Bitcoin needs to come down, it's going to be around 27,000 somewhere, 28, 27, 300, depending on when it comes down. I think Bitcoin is due for a pullback. This is a massive resistance. Previous high here, 31,000. It's a massive resistance. You can see his resistance here. Also, there's a big resistance here above, around 40,000. But let's not talk about that. Bitcoin is again in this resistance area. So Bitcoin needs to stall a bit, maybe cool down a bit, then again try to break it. But this is not going to be easy. This resistance is not going to be easy for Bitcoin to break, okay? And if I go to 1 hour chart, let's see if we see any changes here. I still don't see any divergences here. So if Bitcoin makes a new high, it's going to be on a divergent high, okay? And RSI is going to be also on a divergent high, so it's going to be losing momentum. This is a perfect zone. This is a perfect sell zone for Bitcoin. So this is where you should be taking profits and exiting and wait for a dip at least. This is not where you'll be looking to buy Bitcoin, okay? So just be mindful of that. And let's go to weekly chart. I told you yesterday, let's see if weekly chart. So we have 2 or 3 days left now on weekly chart. So let's zoom in PPO. You can see PPO green line is about to cross red line. As long as green line is not able to cross red line, this is just going to be a fake out. Now, if this week or next week we see this cross happens, then that's a good bullish signal. So that's going to put some upwards pressure and the momentum would be changing. We do have a buy signal, but this week is running until Sunday. Let's look at futures if we get buy signal there as well. Let's quickly look at that. Let's see where it is here. Let's look at futures. Futures also is giving me buy signal. So futures, tomorrow is the last day. Let's see if we, and let's quickly look at PPO. PPO is also like about to cross over. So if tomorrow we get a pump and if I see a cross, that's going to build some good confidence in Bitcoin. Let's quickly checking Ethereum. I don't have any buy signal yet, even on futures. Let's quickly look at futures of Ethereum. Again, no buy signal yet on Ethereum, but Bitcoin is showing. Let's see what happens tomorrow. We have a day. And the good thing, actually, on a daily chart, there's a huge divergence, like I said, on PPO. So even if we have a pump, if we get a pump, it's gonna be a divergent pump. And you can see we are now short-term 1 hour, we are in oversold condition. You can see here we are very oversold here, so it's better for Bitcoin to cool down. If you are a bull, you really want it to cool down, touch this trend line. Short term, we are in an uptrend. We are making uptrend. You can see we can making higher highs. So wait for a pullback. Okay, so wait for a pullback. If we get here, you can see how many tags we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this was a fake out breakout movement, and now we're going higher, but we are in a big resistance zone. Okay, so wait for a pullback. Then you can try to buy on this trend line for another pump higher, but I think eventually we're going lower. Okay, eventually this is what I think will happen. So we are at the top of this run, in my opinion. We'll see how it goes. Ethereum, same story. Ethereum had a gap. I told you yesterday. Ethereum, in order to fill the gap, Bitcoin had to pump. You can see this big gap. Let me hide these moving averages. You can see this gap here. This big gap here. This was around 1834. So Ethereum had to pump to fill this gap, and they pumped. They filled this gap very nicely. Now, if I go to daily chart, there's also a gap here, massive gap here on Ethereum around 1428. So same story, Ethereum has to come down to fill this gap eventually. I don't know when, but it will come and fill this gap. So we can get rid of this, this line here. But yeah, let's see on 1 hour chart. Let's go to live futures and see if we see any divergences here. We do get one hour sell signal on Ethereum here around 11 p.m. on Wednesday, yesterday. So it's just consolidating, and it's gonna behave mainly like Bitcoin. Uh, I don't see any divergences on 1 hour chart, which is a good sign. Let's go to daily and see if there's anything changed here. Still far away from previous high, and this is a big resistance here. So also again, it's back in this channel. So this channel is still Ethereum is right in this resistance box here. Okay, this big channel here, it's right in resistance. So same story like Bitcoin. Be very, very careful. The good thing about Ethereum is you see this trend line. Ethereum is back above this trend line, so you can, it's like hardly holding it. So this trend line is around 1870. So if it breaks below 1870, that will be bearish. So keep an eye on that. Okay, so yeah, for now, just keep an eye on Bitcoin. Ethereum will do similar to what Bitcoin is going to do, and just trade accordingly. Okay, just watch this trend line and work around that. Ethereum found support on this 200 SMA line. You can see this blue line, 200 SMA, find support here in March, and again here now in June, and it's bouncing. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin finds support on 200 EMA, not SMA. This is 200 SMA, dark blue line. This is 200 EMA. So it found support here. Now it's, I think it's due for pullback. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so let's move to, this is crypto, guys. I'm going to move to other markets, entire US market. So if you are here for crypto only, so this is it for crypto. And please, on your way back, hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, thank you for watching. All right, so MES chart. This is basically S&P 500. And we are getting this pullback, so that's fine. We're getting this pullback. Eventually, I'm looking for this pullback to be bought for another run higher, and then eventually a drop in October. We'll figure it out depending on how far we go, how much that drop will be, but eventually that will be the drop I'm looking to buy. And if you're just waiting for another pump, looking for a little bit more selling, and then top out and then a drop. Okay, and if you go to SPY, let's quickly look at SPY, which is the ETF. And then this is the buy zone. it's around let's say 4300 top zone. So if we go a little bit more selling from today's close, today was 0.36 up SPY. So from today's top to this, it's around almost 2% down. All right, and let's go to SPY. Now SPY is still managing to close above this 10 EMA, and let's go to 1 hour chart and see if we did any gap fills. So this is 1 hour chart. Let me hide these lines here. So these lines are now hidden. So you can see this gap here, minor gap is still there. There's another big gap here. So I think we still haven't filled those gaps. We had a gap down yesterday, actually today, and then we tried to little bit gap left. So if we get a pump, look for that gap to fill, okay? And then come back eventually. You can see at the bottom there's gap here around 420. There's a gap here around 406. So multiple gaps to the downside. These gaps will be filled. Again, I don't know when. I think most likely we go down. We can even go as low as 420. We're gonna go down in this box, fill the gap somewhere, then a pump higher, and then eventually go down and fill most of these gaps, I think. There's this massive gap around 395 that will be filled. And actually, I think looks like there's a bit of that 395 gap. I want to take a quick look. So it's actually here. So it's around 394.31. Okay. So that gap will be filled. Looks like something happened on SPY. My gaps are like kind of off. I don't know why. This gap is around here, 404. This gap is right where it should be. Okay. So that's SPY. Triple Q, similar thing. Let's go to 1 hour chart and see if we did any gap fills today. We gap down, still this gap is not filled. You can see on 1 hour chart, or you can see on 1 hour chart what's happening. We are having a divergence. You can see new high. RSI and PPO have momentum. It's breaking down, and you can draw a short-term trend line if you really want to. You can see on 1 hour chart. You can draw a trend line like this, I think. Let's see, like this. Draw a trend line, and you can see we had a breakdown right I think yesterday. Sorry, this breakdown happened this morning, yesterday morning, okay, Wednesday, and now we are probably looks like it's a back test. You can see this trend line. We broke down. Now we're going for a back test. Are we going to go down? We'll see. And again, on 1 hour chart, there are multiple gaps here. And if I go to daily chart just to show you these gaps, you can see how many gaps we have to the downside. You can make a decision. Do you want to buy here? You want to wait for these gaps to fill? Okay. So that's triple Qs. And let's look at Dow Jones. Let's go to 1 hour chart. Let's see. There's a gap at the top here, which is not filled. There's a gap at the bottom here as well. So looks like something happened and my gaps are not looking right. Let me quickly see here. So is there some separate settings on this? Looks like maybe that's changing something, adjusting for dividends. So maybe something changed there, but anyhow, okay. So Dow Jones looking for it to bottom very soon. There's a massive gap here. I don't know if you're going to go all the way there, but you can draw a Fibonacci retracement from here to here to get an ideal buy zone. So you can draw something like a triangle here. So we're very close to the buy zone. Okay, so we can get rid of this. It touched very close to the buy zone. So maybe if we get a little bit more selling, look to buy. This massive gap will be filled to the top side. So looking for Dow Jones to bottom very soon. IWM, same thing. Actually, it did touch the buy zone. You can see it touched the buy zone today. So if you get a little bit more selling tomorrow, that will be a good area to buy. Looking for a pump on IWM. So eventually find buying here and then a new high compared to previous high. That's what I think will happen. We'll watch and see. Let's quickly go to 1 hour chart to see if there are any gaps. We did create another gap today. So it was weak. Russell was weak for some reason today. And there are also gaps to the downside here. I think something happened because of dividends. All the gaps are like messed up right now. So I have to readjust it. I'll do it on a separate offline. Okay, so yeah, so looking for this to buy and then a pump here. All right. Okay, so now keep moving. Gold is in the buy zone, and I did send a video, an alert around 11 o'clock. Those who are looking at my channels, they must have got the alert. You can see what's happening on gold. Let's go to 1 hour chart. You can see we're making a lower lows, new low compared to previous low. And let's see momentum indicators. Let's see, do we see any divergences yet? Compared to here, we do have a divergence. You can see making a new low, but higher momentum on PPO. Same thing with RSI. You can see slightly or maybe equal, not a lot on RSI. Maybe I will get rid of this, but PPO is showing a little bit of divergence. And I just got a buy signal on 1 hour. So gold, let's see on daily. I don't see any divergences yet. But this is the buy zone, guys. This is a buy zone. Why this is a buy zone? Because if I draw a fib retracement from sell from top to bottom, it's exactly at the top of bottom around 6.618. So it's exactly getting very close to the area buy area here around 1900. So this is where you want to buy gold. You don't want to buy gold when it's at the top. You want to buy gold when nobody wants to buy gold. And this time, because two banks, they raised interest rates, Bank of England, and there was another bank, and then gold is dipping because of that. But this is the best opportunity to buy gold miners. I sent a video. It's on the trend line. You can see this trend line, support here, support here, support here, support here, and then look what's happening. We have divergence. We made a new low, and you can see PPO is going higher, RSI is going higher. New low with higher momentum. Also, there's a gap here around 29.16, so you can wait for that gap to fill. There's another gap here around 27.95, but I'm not too worried. I'm willing to take risk, and I can hold even if it goes lower. This looks like a stop rate to me. You can see what happened here. You can see we dipped down below this trend line, and next day we just ramped up. So this is what I'm expecting, dip down. Eventually, I want buyers to step in, eventually ramp up. Okay, it was down more than 2% in the morning, but then they recovered by the end of the day. So it looks like people are buying this gold. And silver, same thing. You can see even on silver we are making new lows, and it's on higher momentum. You can see here, you can see this low is lower than this low, and then even on RSI you can see same thing, previous low lower than previous low. Looks like we're also at the bottom of this channel, so you can see this Fibonacci retracement. We are right at the bottom. Okay, so we are below 0.618, 0.7. This is very good area to buy silver in my opinion. And yeah, make your decision, but I think we are heading for a new all-time high. We perfectly predicted sell zone here, sold here, and now this is the area you need to buy silver here. Dollar, zoom out a bit. Dollar, looking for there's area of support here on dollar. This whole area looks like it wants to come down there, so it's almost there. And then if that happens, it's going to be on divergence. Since you can see PPO is going higher, RSI is going higher, but I want to see a new low with divergences. So if we get a little bit more selling, that's going to be bullish for gold and stocks. But then eventually we will have a pump in dollar, and then that will be bearish for gold and stocks. So we'll see how that plays out when time comes. Crude oil, massive selling today, almost 4% down. It's stuck in this range between sell zone, this red zone, and buy zone. Nothing to update, just chopping around here. I think we can go lower to $60. So be very careful. I'm not bullish on energy sector this year. So in bear market, crude oil did really good. So the sector which does good in bear market, usually in a bull market, it lags. I won't say it will do bad, it lags compared to the other market. When bear market, tech sector was down heavily. So now in a bull market, it's pumping. Okay, so same scenario. Natural gas, bringing some moving averages. Natural gas is looking okay. Again, I think the bottom is in. Look to accumulate. UNG is something you can look to buy. Again, it's just consolidating, and eventually one day it's going to just ramp up. Copper, let's see. Copper is just a little bit down. I would really like copper to go in this buy zone. So a little bit more selling and then a pump higher. Palladium made a new low, but you can see even we made a new low, but on divergence of PP on RSI, so Palladium is looking good. And actually it went below this trend line, so that's not good. I really want, let's see if it's gonna go back in this channel. So we can even make something like a channel now. So looks like this is what it's trying to do, doing a channel, so it can go a little bit more lower. But the good thing is its momentum is still going higher even with the price action going lower. So this is a bullish sign. Okay, this is just anytime we break out of this wedge, that's what I'm looking for. Wheat, another green day on wheat. Just this thing just keeps pumping from the time I told you to buy. Now there's a trend line here, so if you get any dip, it's buy the dip now. Okay, so if you get a dip on this trend line, buy. It's gonna go to higher highs. Okay, that's on wheat. Corn, a little bit of selling, but it was an explosive move. That's okay. If you get a little bit more sell-off, this is my buy zone on wheat. So I really hope it comes here. But if it does not come here, then I'll just let it go. Soybeans, same thing here. Looking for, this is a buy zone. So if it not comes to my buy zone, I won't trade. Sugar was down 3%. But it's in my buy zone. You can see here, it's also finding support on this 50 EMA yellow line. So it's right on support. So let's see if we can draw a trend line. Let's see if we can draw something like this, like a trend line. So sugar can even come as low as here on this trend line and then bounce, but we'll see. But it's right on support as of now. Okay. Mortgage is going higher. I think yesterday I said mortgage rates are going to go high, which is going to be bearish for stock market. Looking for more higher high. You can, this cycle high is coming in the middle, so looking for higher prices on mortgages. Bonds sold off heavily today, so I'm looking for equal low, lower low, and before the bounce higher. Let's look at sectors. XLE sector. XLE is down 1.3%. there's a gap here around, actually dividends messed up all these gaps. So there's a gap here around 70 bucks, looking for that gap to fill. XLU, same. XLU is actually right on support trend line. Actually this dividend thing actually messed up my sorry, let me see if I gotta do something here. Okay, so let me check auto. Okay, this should be okay. So I need to readjust these lines a bit. So XLU, I think it's right on this support line a little bit. Still has, okay, I can make it something like this. Okay, so it's very close to the trend line. You can even go a little bit lower on this trend line and then bounce. Okay, so actually it's looking good. Healthcare is looking very good. Actually, it's right above this 50 SMA line. It's right above all the moving averages. So healthcare is looking very good. It's been down since all-time high. Like you can see, the sector is down all year so far. So since all-time high to now, it's down 6%, and since October lows here this year to now, it's only up 10% compared to other sectors. So this is somewhere you can be looking to buy stocks. Healthcare. XLI is industrial, looking for a little bit pull more downside before we go higher. There are multiple gaps. This is probably the ideal buy zone, but there's a gap here. We'll, I guess, figure it out when we go there. XLRE, real estate sector. Looks like the gap is filled. If I go to 1 hour chart, just want to make sure, yeah, this gap is filled so we can get rid of this. Now there is this gap to the top here, and yeah, so I think real estate sector is looking good. Also there's this trend line you can make on real estate sector, XLRE, something like this. So we're very close to, maybe we can get a little bit more sell off and then a bounce. All right, financials. The only thing which bothers me on financial is this gap here. Again, I think everything is messed up because of these dividend adjustments. Let's see, I think this should be okay. If I go to 1 hour chart, yeah, this one looks good. So looking for a little bit more sell-off in financials. little bit more downside. Hopefully we'll go and fill this gap before we go higher. Also, there's a trend line here. This trend line, not the best trend line. So looks like something happened here because of dividends. So I need to adjust this as well. So something like this, okay. This is a nice trend line. So if we go there down here around 31.97, so from today's close, we can have a little bit more sell-off around 2.7%. That will be a good area to buy before a bounce. And let's quickly look at tech sectors, Tesla. Let's go to 1 hour chart. No gaps, but like I said before, all these gaps to the downside are all these green lines are the gaps to fill. I'm not interested in any tech stocks at this time. This is not when I want to buy tech stocks. I want to buy tech stock when we are here. Nobody wants to buy. Not here when everybody. This is euphoric moment. Okay. Apple is same thing. All the gaps to the downside. Google is pumping, but again, it has another gap here around 113. Microsoft is going a bit higher, but another gap here. Multiple gaps here. Facebook. Again, look at all the gaps to the downside. It's barely holding this trend line. You can see this white trend line. So be careful with all the gaps. Let me hide these SMA lines. Maybe it's easier to see that way. Amazon, massive pump. Was there a news today? Let's see. Work from home. Something to do with work from home. But you can see new highs with divergence on RSI and PPO. Not interested right now. RSI is higher, PPO is higher. We made a new high and multiple gaps to the downside. You can see all these gaps to the downside on Amazon. So be careful, wait for some of these gaps to fill. And actually, I'm going to get rid of these trend lines. This trend line is valid. So if it keeps going, watch for this trend line. You can buy off this trend line. Netflix kind of flat today. And let's see if it filled any gaps or not. No, still these gaps are not filled. You can see all these gaps to the downside. Adjust this trend line. Something happened with TradingView, which is making a mess for everything. So yeah, so look for these gaps to fill to the downside. Snowflakes up 3%, but again, could be a dead cat bounce before we going lower. NVDA flat, massive multiple gaps. This is running unbelievable. Like this is running more than 200 times its earnings estimate. So stay away from this. AMD, did it fill the gap yet? Let's see. Let's quickly see 1 hour chart. Still a little bit time left. So I think tomorrow we're gonna definitely fill the gap. So first gap is about to be filled, but there are also other gaps. But oh, sorry, this is weekly chart. Daily chart, first gap is filled. I have this arrow done. So but I don't see any signs of reversal. Could be more selling coming on AMD. So be very, very careful. Okay. And I think that's about it, guys. And Canadian market, TSX is looking very weak, but it's very close to the bottom in my opinion. XIC ETF, there were some gaps. It filled, you can see this gap. Let me get rid of this retracement. You can see, let's go to 1 hour chart. You can see there was a gap. It came below the gap, so now it becomes a resistance here. So I'm going to make this yellow. So now you can see on 1 hour chart, did we make a new low? Not yet. So I have to wait for new lows to form. Let's see TSX. TSX also did not make a new low. But if it makes a new low, I think, let's see if it's going to be on I think it could be on a divergence. Even if you make a new low, slight new low, it's going to, or tomorrow is dividend day, or Monday is dividend day. Okay. So if you make a new low, probably on Monday, it's going to make a new low. So it's going to be on a divergence. You can see daily chart divergence. So looking good. If we go down, slightly more down here tomorrow, that will be called an opportunity to buy. So from today's close, almost 1% down. So I don't know if we're going to go there, but if you make a new low, slight low, that will be a divergent low. And you can see this prediction is playing out very, very nicely. So we're looking for bottom very, very soon on the sector. Okay, guys. And VIX down, oh, 7%, guys, unbelievable. Let's look at weekly chart on VIX and see where we are. This definitely is ready for the bounce. I don't know, market makers are players. I don't know why they're selling VIX. Just 500 was, I think, flat. Still, there's no reason for VIX to be down 7%. I think eventually it's going to be bouncing soon. I don't know exactly when, but my cycles are like, looks like it's all off because the VIX just made a new low. Okay, so I might have to readjust these cycles, but that's the beauty. We readjust based on the new data we get, and we just go on from there. Okay, guys, that's it for tonight. And if you're still here, please hit the like button on your way out, and I wish you a great, happy